Welcome back, Patriots. We got a lot of news to cover today, and we're going to jump right into it. But good morning. Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. We're a podcast that covers all the major news that you need to know about heading in your work day, your work week, the weekend, heck, whenever you're watching this podcast. We give you a holistic view of what's happening in the news so that you have a general idea of what's going on around the world. Well, the big news right now is obviously Iran, and a ceasefire has been put in place, and there is a lot of updates. So give me a moment to go through a lot of these. This is coming from Fox News. Trump predicts golden age of the Middle East after Iran ceasefire. Now, President Donald Trump said there will be a positive action following the 2-week ceasefire agreement with Iran, predicting a golden age of the Middle East. We will see. There's been a lot of things said about the Middle East since I've been alive and there before, and has never been golden. It used to be, I will say this, it actually used to be golden many years ago. And nobody that I'm talking to right now was even close to being alive. Not even a thought, not even a speck in the grandparents, great-grandparents' eyes. So in a social post early Wednesday, Trump suggested Iran was ready to reach a peace agreement and said the U.S. would help manage traffic in the Strait of Hormuz. He said this, quote, "Big day for world peace. Iran wants it to open and happen. They've had enough. Likewise, so has everyone else. The United States of America will be helping with the traffic buildup in the Strait of Hormuz. There will be lots of positive action. Big money will be made. Iran can start the reconstruction process." Trump said the U.S. will be loading up with supplies of all kinds and just hanging around in order to make sure that everything goes well. And he added, "I feel confident that it will." Well, let's hope so. I think everybody would kind of like the Middle East to figure their stuff out. You know what I mean? I think we're all kind of tired of dealing with this every so often. Now, people could say, well, you know, the United States was the one that kind of started it, all these other things. All right, well, you know, tit for tat. We're here now, and I'm not sure I'm fully on board with that statement, but we got news to cover, so we're moving past it. Now, Netanyahu backs Trump's ceasefire with Iran, but here's the thing. Says deal excludes Lebanon. You have the Prime Minister's office says Israel supports President Donald Trump's decision to suspend strikes against Iran for 2 weeks, subject to Iran immediately opening the straits and stopping all attacks on the U.S., Israel, and countries in the region. Israel also supports the U.S. effort to ensure that Iran no longer poses a nuclear, missile, or terror threat. That's a big one. Terror threat to America, Israel, Iran's Arab neighbors, and the world. You know what's fascinating is Iran has a ton of Arab neighbors. You don't really hear much from them. I mean, they were even hit with drones, and it could just be because we're kind of secluded here in the United States in terms of what news we get, and it's not me really reaching out to see if the UAE or the Arab neighbors are kind of talking about this stuff. But they're being attacked too. It's kind of odd, right? That you kind of only see certain nations always kind of rising up. You never really see the ones that are getting, their crap pushed in too. Anywho, you have this Kuwait. UAE report new attacks from Iran following Trump's ceasefire. So like I said, this is all succession. I start at the very beginning. We're going to go to the most extreme current news. Kuwait and the United Arab Emirates are reporting fresh attacks from the Iranian regime on Wednesday. Gee, wasn't it like I just said the neighbors? They're the ones getting attacked. Why are they not stepping in? Why are they not actually putting boots on the ground? That's what I want to know. I'm not trying to escalate this thing, but you guys are being attacked too. Look at this. A Kuwait Defense Ministry spokesperson. They can never say spokesman anymore. It has to be spokesperson. Said the country has been pushing back against, quote, an intense wave of hostile Iranian criminal attacks, intercepting how many drones? 28 drones. The Kuwaiti armed forces succeeded in intercepting a large number of hostile drones, some of which targeted vital oil facilities and power stations in the south of the country, resulting in significant material damage to oil infrastructure facilities, power stations, and water desalination plants. Oh, well, and that's just lovely. So why are you guys not stepping in? Huh? Get in there. I'm kidding. I don't want to escalate, but really, I mean, it really does make you wonder. Now, it says here, ships began crossing Strait of Hormuz following Trump's ceasefire deal. So now we got actual movement, which is nice to see. I would imagine the markets are reacting positively to this. 2 ships were spotted transitioning the Strait of Hormuz on Wednesday in the wake of the U.S.-Iran ceasefire deal. The Liberia-flagged bulk carrier, Daytona Beach, there's a name for you, first crossed at 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, followed by the Greek-owned bulk carrier NJ North at 3:45. So at least we got some movement happening. Before Operation Epic Fury began, it carried roughly 20 million barrels of oil a day, along with about 1/5 of the global liquid natural gas. Yikes, that's big. Why won't Israel commit troops on the ground? We're fighting this war for them. Well, we're not putting boots in the ground either. I don't think they should put boots in the ground. If you could do it without doing that, there's no need. And I think that's kind of proven, right? You can actually solve this by not putting any boots in the ground. Our air superiority is far, far beyond Iran's capabilities. Our Navy is far beyond. There's no need to actually put boots on the ground for Israel. That I don't think that's necessary. That sounds like IDS. All right, Trump announced U.S.-Iran cooperation on nuclear material removal. So here we go. There's a lot of movement happening right now. President Donald Trump said Wednesday that the U.S. will work with Iran on nuclear material removal and will be discussing potential tariffs and sanctions relief, assessing that the country has undergone regime change. The United States will work closely with Iran, which we have determined has gone through what will be a very productive regime change. We'll see about that, because I don't really know what's going on with the dude's son that was allegedly in a coma. Then I heard he got his legs blown off. Then I heard his arms were blown off. Then I heard he's walking around fine. I don't know who they're actually negotiating with. And that's not just me saying that too. Steve Witkoff said himself, he's like, I don't actually know who I'm talking to, who we're really negotiating with. So this could all just be one giant bamboozle, one giant silly negotiation deal that's not actually legit. I would imagine the U.S. with all our intelligence, along with the Israeli intelligence, which is, I would say, like, just on par with ours, the way they handle things. I would imagine they do know. I would imagine. You would hope so. Fingers crossed. Crisscross applesauce. We'll see. Trump announces U.S.-Iran cooperation on nuclear removal. We just got that. Like Seth. Okay, so here's the announcement. How long is this video? Hold on a second. Oh, it's live. Okay. They're giving a press conference on the ceasefire deal announcement. That's kind of dicey to like push the ceasefire thing, because I don't really trust the Iranian government. Not that I trust my own government either, but I feel like we're doing almost like a victory parade right now, and that's not really a thing at the moment. I would like to see these last, and it could just be because I saw what happened with Israel and Gaza so much, where the ceasefire would be put in place and then people would start attacking Israel, or vice versa, however you want to put it. Doesn't matter. And it just ends. So I think a lot of people with ceasefires are kind of like, is there really a ceasefire? We'll see. So Hegseth says U.S. achieved decisive military victory in Iranian forces. So maybe that's why they're really doing a parade right now, is because they're claiming victory. And by them, I mean us. Hegseth said Wednesday that the United States has achieved a decisive military victory against Iran in Operation Epic Fury, to the precision campaign that obliterated Iran's nuclear sites in Operation Midnight Hammer, to the decisive military victory we achieved in Operation Epic Fury. No other president has shown the courage and resolve of this commander-in-chief. Well, I think there's definitely truth to that, especially with dealing with this crap. President Trump forged this moment. Iran begged for this ceasefire, and we all know it. I don't know, because I saw a video last night. Of some Iranians kind of complaining the fact that we weren't going in bombing them. So that's a real thing, by the way. I'm not making that up. They were doing these interviews, and people were in their cars, and they were kind of upset with Trump making a deal, because they all know what's going on over there. They all know what's going on with the regime, and they're not super stoked about who's taking control. Granted, that's up to them to have to push back on their own government. It's easy for me to say behind a camera, a microphone, a nice place where I live, and a nice and greatest country on earth. It's easy for me to say that because I'm not having to rise up against my own government, put my life on the line. But I will say that there's many Americans beforehand that had to do it with our government, and they did it. Kane says U.S. ready to resume combat with same speed and precision if ceasefire doesn't hold. I am glad he said that. That's very strategic, that we're not leaving. We're just kind of basically floating out there, making sure the ships go through. So, and by the way, I mean, I think victory is definitely worth saying, in the sense of, like, we obliterated their Navy. We obliterated their military sites. We had almost full control of airspace, which is almost unheard of. I think the last time we saw something kind of similar to this was the Gulf War. Was that like 1991? I think I'm really reaching back in my memory. But people forget that we wiped out Iran's half of their Navy in like a lunch hour before. I mean, the timing of it's being a little silly, right? I'm just saying that we did it extremely fast. And we kind of forget that, if we wanted to, Iran would be a parking lot. Now, obviously, you would never do something like that. There's a lot of civilians. You know, I obviously don't do things like that. But you know what? You get like the analogy in what I'm saying. Our military might is unbelievable. There is no doubt that we would come out on top and that they would claim a victory. I'm really not surprised by that. I mean, hell, we could have claimed victory before we ever did anything, to be fair. But we have this year. We struck more than 13,000 targets during a 30-day assault on Iran. And remember, this isn't even our full might. This is us. It's almost like a training exercise for us, if you look at it that way. The U.S. military struck more than 13,000 targets since the beginning of Operation Epic Fury. And the United States Joint Force has struck those targets, including 13,000, more than 4,000 dynamic targets that popped up on the battlefield and were immediately addressed thanks to exceptional command and control system and intelligence, acumen, agility of our joint force. So incredible stuff by the military. And hopefully we'll be a little bit safer for a little while. Maybe they don't want to go start bombing our merchant vessels in the seas over there that we were dealing with under Joe Biden. Remember that it was 127 times it happened before Joe Biden actually did anything. And the thing that he did, I think it was literally 127 or it was 137 times. It was one or the other before he ever did anything. And I always bring this up because we had the actual count to the actual amount of attack that these Houthis that were being funded by the Iranian regime were doing, going and blowing up our allied merchant vessels too, not just our stuff, but our allied merchant vessels. And they're not going to do anything. So it took 127 times, maybe 137 times for Joe Biden to do anything. And what did he go do? He went and blew up an empty ammo depot that was just made of cement that was never even used. That's what he did. But it took him 127 plus times of don't do that. Stop doing that. We're going to do something. You know what should have happened? It should have happened after the first time. And that's what I loved when Donald Trump was putting these videos online of him blowing these drug boats out of the water over here. Because that's what I've been calling for. If you go back to my old episodes, I was saying, stop shooting one over the bow. Just hit the bow for once. Yeah, and then post it online. That's exactly what I said, and that's exactly what they did. And I was saying it for years before Donald Trump was reelected. For years, I was saying they needed to do this stuff. And finally, they're doing it. Finally, somebody's listening. And you know what? Then you'll think twice. If the information gets to them, they'll definitely think twice that eagle eyes flying around, baby, and you might get a nice little tomahawk in your platoon boat. So try to deal all the drugs you want with the caveat that you might be mist and chum for the ocean. What is that? APG has been loading up cargo helicopters. I don't know what APG is, Angel. Treat me like I'm dumb, because I am. Thank you. Israeli Air Force says it launched its largest attack on Lebanon since Operation Roaring Lion. Whoa. Wait. What is this? Now, Lebanon, if you were here earlier when we were covering the ceasefire stuff, Lebanon is not a part of the agreement. So they're going to continue to go after them. The Israeli Air Force said Wednesday it launched its largest attack across Lebanon since the beginning of Operation Roaring Lion against Iran. Israel's military has been striking Hezbollah, a Lebanese terrorist group allied with Iran, in recent weeks. The Air Force completed a strike targeting approximately 100 command centers and military infrastructures of the Hezbollah terror organization across Beirut, Bekaa, and South Lebanon. So it looks like they're going after terrorists. And it sounds like a lot of people are going after some terrorists finally. And it might seem like a lot, but when you've been holding off for so long, you know, they spread. They spread, and you got to go after them. So good on Israel for protecting their people and going after terrorists. Now, are there going to be casualties that are associated with that? Unfortunately, yes, which sucks. But that's what terrorists do. We should not be surprised. Alrighty, let's get into some rando news here, but that's the big news of the day. Again, the ceasefire agreement. With who? I'm not exactly sure. Allegedly, it's with the Iranian regime, but who really knows? We got 60 minutes here. I gotta probably put on my headphones here for a moment. We covered this a little bit yesterday, and 60 minutes is still talking about the high-speed rail system here in California. And let me show you just what we got going on here. The April 5th segment traces the project of its 2008 approval with $10 billion on bonds and $33 billion. I'm only bringing this up not to rehash this again because we covered this already before. It's the gift that keeps on giving because it's almost like every month or every 2 months the high-speed rail gets brought up. Excuse me, and now every month it's the hospice stuff, which we'll get to in one moment as well. But it's fascinating because of actually, since living in California, I'm 37. I would say, what year are we in? 2026 is easily, by far, not even close, the most amount of news that I've seen of classifying California as being a fraudulent state. I mean, it is relentless, from the homeless fraud that's going on to the nonprofit fraud that's going on, that's trying to do the homeless and fix the homeless, but it's just people embezzling and taking, probably, I should say embezzling, but taking millions of dollars and doing whatever they want with it, which is probably a lot of Gavin Newsom's friends and buddies, to the high-speed rail, to the bridge that's being built over the 101 that have animals cross it. It's insane, the amount of fraud that we got going on, but it's not picking up any traction. That's what I've noticed. It's almost like when people have TDS, in the same way that people have IDS, the Israeli derangement syndrome is what I call it, or you want to say JDS, which is Jew derangement syndrome. I mean, there's people in the chat that clearly have it, but they don't want to acknowledge they have it, which is typical for somebody that has it. The left says they don't have Trump derangement syndrome either. The right here in the chat, some of you have IDS, which is Israeli derangement syndrome. I will just call you out. Look, I love you. I don't got a problem with you, but I'm also not going to lie to you. I mean, that's the right thing to do, right? Say like, hey man, like maybe you keep pointing the finger at the Jews like all the time. In the same way the left keeps pointing all the blame at Trump for everything all the time. It is linear logic. You just don't want to acknowledge it, but you do. So people don't want to acknowledge that there's this amount of fraud that's taking place in California. And I think one of the reasons, and we've brought this up in the past, I think one of the reasons is that you got to ultimately see that your side is the one that's causing all the fraud. Is there fraud on the Republican side? Of course. Let's not be stupid. Okay, let's not be dum-dums. We know. Not to the magnitude it is coming from the Democrats. You guys have been running this state for a long time. Well, speaking of fraud, CBS News, one doctor, 1 year, listen to this, $71 million. Yeah, that's not me messing up. That's what it says. A doctor in 1 year had $71 million worth of Medicare claims. My headset working? Nope. Is there no audio? Okay, hold on a second. Let's see here. You guys got audio on your end? All right, so it says one LA County doctor is associated with 126 hospices. According to the state auditors, that is a red flag for hospice fraud. Yeah, you think? You think? There's no audio. Sorry, it's odd. So we want to check out some of the hospices tied to this doctor's office and billing records. And he's walking around. I don't know why there's... There we go. That was weird. Hold on. Oh, there is no audio at the beginning. It doesn't happen until later. Okay.
Often he's hearing the story.
Hold on.
But you're still trying to get some...
It was a little bit of a surprise. People were inside. They were willing to talk to us.
Dr. Rajiv Buva is the medical director here. We're just trying to get some information about it. He's not? No. Was he at some point?
Yes, he was.
But you're telling me he no longer is associated with you guys? No. Was he at some point? My name is Adam Yamaguchi. I'm a correspondent with CBS News, and we're doing a story about hospice. How often he's here.
I didn't see him long time.
Then he went to doctor's home in a mountainside suburb of Los Angeles.
I knocked on the door. Dr. Buva came out, surprisingly spoke to me for about 20 or so minutes.
Oh, wow.
He knew exactly who I was. He was very familiar with our reporting and immediately said, I don't know what else I can tell you. You guys seem to be doing your thing. There's nothing really for me to add. I said that I'm here because your name comes up as a medical director across dozens and dozens of hospices across LA County, and that this is something that both the state and federal government will call up as potential warning signs for fraud. Again, not accusing him of anything, but that it does raise a flag. We'll see if he is willing to talk to us again. He said he wouldn't close the door on it, but we'll have to see.
Dude, $71 million though? That's crazy, man. There was a New York Post. I think I brought this up the other day. There was this New York Post in January, front page for page 6, that talked about that there's a potential, I think, of our entire budget being at least 10% fraudulent. It was an insane amount of money. and nothing's happening. I mean, Pam Bondi, right? She's being let go. I mean, I understand this is kind of a state thing, but I mean, it could be a federal, because federal funds are going to this stuff. I mean, somebody has to be going to jail for this. I mean, it's happening everywhere, and nothing's being done. And I've never seen so much coverage on fraud happening. You had Minnesota, now you have California. I mean, at what point does something happen? Or do we get fed up and just throw our arms up and say, well, since nothing's going to happen, our day is going to move on because you don't feel affected by it. You've been living in it for so long that you actually don't even know the real impact that it's having on your life personally. That's also the problem. People were raised and born and it happened so quick. Probably realistically, I think there's probably exponentially around COVID. It definitely happened before then. I think you've been living in it so long and it's happened so gradually that you don't even realize the magnitude that's happened to you. Or at least the effects that's happening on you. Oh, things just normally get expensive over time. It's just inflation. Yeah, it's just government spending. They need it. And we just look the other way. We hear the news. We put our head down. We go to work. We come home and complain about it. Then we eat some dinner. We go to sleep. We hear the news. We complain about it. We go to work. We complain about, it's just a vicious cycle. Nothing ever gets done here. All right, now we got Mamdani. Sorry. Ugandan mayor Mamdani, that's hilarious, goes full anti-white mode and is now calling out for plotting to racially discriminate. Whoop. Let's see what he says here. I'm not surprised.
There's a report in City and State today about how your administration removed DEI language from the racial equity report that you released this week. Why was that decision made, and do you support that decision?
So I want to be very clear. Our administration inherited a report that the prior administration had refused to release, a report that had been heavily diluted over many rounds of revisions. We took the time to strengthen this report to ensure that it was actually an accurate reflection of the city that we all love and know as our home, and to actually release this report within the first 100 days. Now, in this report, what we've seen, it's a report that is both coupled with a true cost of living report, is that the inequities in this city, the racial inequities, are stark. We are talking about findings that have shown that the wealth of a median white household in this city is more than $200,000, while that of a black household is less than $20,000.
So that must be due to racism. Must be. Not people's decision making, not how they live their life, how they handle their personal finances. They're choosing to live in New York. It's none of that. It's not maybe like some sort of culture that might be inherited. Who knows? But it has to be race. That's the first one. It can't be any other variable. It must be racism or discrimination against black people.
This is not an indictment of any one New Yorker. It is an indictment, however, of policies and politics that have persisted for far too long. Our commitment now is to act upon these findings, to do so in concert with New Yorkers' comments, as we've now opened a public comment period for the next 30 days to ensure that we have a city where we are reckoning with the long history of racism here and starting to act upon.
Did I not call it? So how the left thinks, and it's a very interesting way of thinking. Anytime there's a disparity in data, it must be racism. It's such a fascinating way to live your life and look at data that it couldn't possibly be any other reason in terms of why somebody's income would be disparate over another person's income. And by the way, it's so interesting they only focus on the whites and the blacks, but they don't, mind you, there's a lot of different white people. And I also want to point out there's a lot of different black people too. It's not just African American, not just African Americans. No, there's a lot of different blacks. That's why you call them blacks, because they're here. But if you spread that out, and Thomas Sowell has great data on this from his book, Discriminations and Disparities. If you haven't picked up a copy, you need to. Calling this out. That if you actually break down the median household income, whites are not at the top. Tell you what. Actually, we talk about in our book, Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. I specifically have a section on household income. It's so baffling to me. It's so easy just to blame racism because, again, it comes back down to what we were talking about before. I'm telling you, almost everything can evolve into this or roll into this on an individual level. People find it easier to blame some nameless, faceless, shadowy figure out there, hence racism, than it is to blame yourself and your descendants' actions that ultimately had some way, shape, or form impacting your financial future. And if it didn't, then you're still affecting your financial future. The question goes back really long before. What decisions were you making in high school? What decisions were you making in your 20s? What decisions were you making in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, your 70s? You can't, I'm sorry, but you can't tell me on a huge swath of data that everything is just racism. It does, no. I don't want to kick a I don't want to keep beating a dead horse with it. It's just it's so mind-blowing that we're just going to keep saying everything's racism. But it's just you don't ever have to acknowledge your own wrongdoings. I'm not saying everything is wrongdoing. I'm not saying there's not racism, but I'm saying that racism is not a major issue in the United States of America. Is it an issue for people? Yes. I've even had racism go against me multiple times, by the way, and I've shared those stories on here. And I've been discriminated against too, not for my race, but for my values. Do I go, ooh, no, I'll just go figure it out and just keep steaming forward, moving on ahead. All right, we got this. So I got an update on the gas prices for you. I drove past, this was yesterday. Let's do this. Anybody want to guess how much premium was? Not diesel, premium, which is close to diesel, right? It's like the next one down. Diesel's the next one down. Premium. Anybody want to guess the premium price of gas that I saw yesterday with my own eyes? I almost took a photo with you guys when I was driving. Take a guess in the chat how much premium is going for. Don't be Googling AAA. Don't be Googling stuff. Premium. The good stuff. The hot sizzle. While you guys put that in the chat, we're going to be talking about it. And I'll let you know the price that I saw. It's nuts, dude. I'm going to tell you this. Gas prices are so bad in California. In Long Beach, California, people are stealing each other's gas. They are going under the car. They're drilling into the gas pan and draining people's gas, allegedly. Look at you guys getting all crazy. 875, 898. Look at you guys. I'll let you know. Well, you'll still pay sky-high prices in California despite the ceasefire. Here's why. Correct. By the way, we were already paying sky-high prices, but we have to act stupid and act like we weren't. Because when we get to act stupid, that's called pretend. And when you pretend, make believe things are a lot easier. It was $7.47 for premium that I saw yesterday with my own eyes. If a refinery went out, oh yeah, that's jacking up past 10. There's a place in San Francisco that's $9.99, and I was told that they couldn't hit $10 because the sign wouldn't allow them. The meter actually doesn't hit $10. I don't know where that's at, Nat. I'll have to Google that for you guys. But that's what I heard on AM 640 yesterday morning. Now, California drivers are hoping for relief at the pump, are about to be sorely disappointed. Why? Why are you disappointed? Because it's all Trump's fault that gas prices are going through the roof? Or is it your fault for wanting to close all these refineries, not wanting to drill? See, if you drilled, you wouldn't have this problem, really. We got all the oil in the world. We'd be selling that stuff. Heck, we might not even be in a deficit. Then you could really brag about how great the state is because you're just flourished in money. Not the way you're spending it, not the way you're doing things. Even after a surprise U.S.-Iran 2-week ceasefire, which we covered at the beginning of this episode, so if you need to go back, we covered the entire ceasefire and all the stuff, that sent oil prices tumbling, experts warn the damage is already done. Yes. And gas prices could stay painfully high for months. That's especially brutal news for the Golden State, where prices were already floating around $6 a gallon and diesel smashing records, the worst in the nation. The whiplash started when global oil markets went into a panic mode during the Iran conflict, choking off supplies through the Strait of Hormuz. a critical artery for roughly 20% of the world's oil. More than 60% of California's oil comes from foreign countries. I'm going to say that again. Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? Because it's ironic. It's a little too thick like Ray. You know Alanis Morissette? For the oldies, you guys know what I'm talking about. 60%. Hey, just take a moment real quick. Take like a breather. Little coffee break. Refill that cup of coffee. Democrats, you environmentalists, right? You EPA lovers, you tree huggers. Right? The climate change, right? Screw you, the Greta Thunbergs of the world. Screw you, we're all going to die. Right? Or the AOCs are going to be gone in 7 years. Okay, it's been 7 years. Nothing's happened. 60%. Says it here. It's not my words. 60% of California's oil comes from foreign countries. How'd it get here? Huh? How'd that happen? Because I was told we can't drill because we want clean air. What about the Paris Climate Accords? I was told wind and solar. It's so bad. Wouldn't it be more efficient and less pollutant if we drilled here and then delivered it here or refined it here than doing it across the entire world and having it then shipped over here? Isn't that worse? Because here you'd be refining, right? You drill it and refine. Here you'd, let's just say, drill here, you drill here. Both drilling. Well, here, you got to bring it all the way over here. It seems like that's the variable. That's going to cause a lot of pollution. That could cause global warming if you want to go with it. These are the same people. No. Don't act surprised. These are the same people that are putting their hands in their butt and wiping Tesla doo-doo on Teslas and screaming at cars going down the street. They're the same people. Don't give me that. None of this should be surprising to any of us. We shouldn't even be upset. If your kid was going full steam ahead and blew through your screen door and face planted on the cement, would you be surprised? Especially when they're known to be doing stuff like that? I don't think so. When that kid has put his head through drywall, you know what I mean? Has, slammed his head in the drawer a few times. He's just that kid. Eating paste, eating crayons for dinner. Would you be surprised if, he did something stupid later? In the same way, when these people are screaming at Teslas, putting their hands in their booties and wiping caca on cars, they're out there doing no king's protests. They want to allow illegals to run roughshod over their entire state. They have no actual culture. Are we shocked that their minds are blown, that gas prices are through the roof, and that their entire ideology is completely hypocritical? No, you shouldn't be surprised. 60% of California's oil comes from foreign countries. But don't worry, you can't drill here, and you don't want to be drilling in the United States because it's polluting. It's going to hurt the weather. Give me a break. Get out of here. Stupid. Look at this. Look at this. Ha, not even close. Not even close. This was April 7th. This was yesterday. Where's this place at? I got to fill up over here because it's cheaper. Look at $6.99. No. This down here was what premium was looking like. You know what? Some of you've never even seen $7 plus gallon of gas in your life in person. You're just seeing it on video. No, you've never driven your entire life on this planet and driven past and go, oh, I've seen it spiked over $7. You never filled up over 7. You don't know what it's like. You know those people that always complain about the weather? Like I'm here in California, right? And so it gets cold. It gets cold. Look, it snows here. Let's not be stupid. It snows in our state, all right? Stop it. It snows, it rains. We got all of it, okay? We got all of it. And they always go, oh, you don't know what cold is, man. You should be over here in the East Coast. It's cold. It's always like that, So I just do a little bit of rubbing your nose in it. Anywho, people always have to pretend like they got it harder than the next guy. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is. It must be an ego thing. I'm not really sure. It's not something really to be bragging about, Oh yeah, well, I live in -20. Okay. Yeah, I gotta shovel snow off my driveway every weekend. All right. Yeah, I gotta go out and spend $1,000 on salt every week to make sure it doesn't ice over. What do you got to deal with, buddy? Not that. Like I never understood. You guys know what I'm talking about in the chat, right? I've never understood that. I know we're going on a side tangent here, but I never understood that's like you got to it's like a pissing contest. You know what I mean? You got to see whose D's bigger. I don't understand that because it's not something to be proud of. Oh yeah, you out there in the summer in 120-degree weather redoing your roofing? Yeah, I didn't think so, buddy. It's like, all right, no, don't want to, but okay, sure. Oh yeah, you don't have to put change on your 4x4. Oh yeah, you pussy. You don't got to do that. Yeah, little Mr. California over there. I'm making stuff up, but you get what I'm saying. It's the same thing. It really is. All right, anyways. Now, even with ships expected to start moving again, don't expect instant relief. The U.S. Energy Information Administration on Tuesday said fuel costs could linger at elevated levels for months after the waterway fully reopens, thanks to supply disruptions and refinery bottlenecks. So we got that. Nothing's going to change. Actually, this looked pretty similar. Look at that. $8.65. Whew. I wonder what it is this morning. It's always I don't drive too much, thank God. But things will just get more expensive as we got updates. Everybody settle down. We got updates on the ceasefire. Oh, I knew something was fishy. I knew it was fishy. Iran threatens to destroy ships that pass through Strait of Hormuz despite ceasefire pact. What? I told you, there's communication coming from everywhere, folks. Iran's battered navy has reportedly warned foreign ships on Wednesday that they will be destroyed if they attempt to cross the Strait of Hormuz without permission from Tehran. Yada, yada, yada. Because we had reports that there's 2 ships currently going through right now. So we'll see. And maybe those are the tests, right? Those are little dummy ships that are going out there. We'll see if they pull something off. And by the way, who's saying this? I want to see this. Hold on a second. Oh, here we go. Yep. Let me zoom in for you guys. That's the problem. I found it. No. We solved this in seconds. Yeah, you see this right here? I have it highlighted on your screen for you. Just zoom in a little bit. You'll see it. This is hilarious. You must receive permission from Iranian Navy. Come here. What Navy? What Navy? You have no Navy. I don't know how to. Are they not getting the news we are? Look. News doesn't break the same way it does here in other countries, man. It's very. I think they literally think they actually have a Navy still. That's wild. That's crazy. That is bonkers. You need permission from us. Oh, fuck off. Hold on a second. Hold on. The balls. Remember how I said for the longest time there was these countries and these leaders that really thought that they were, high and mighty, like Maduro over there in Venezuela, or the Ayatollah, and just egging Trump on to do something about it, and so we go do something about it. They literally think that they have a navy right now, and that they think that we need to ask them for permission. Buddy, Trump deleted like almost your entire cabinet, if that's what you want to call it, gone. I think there's one guy remaining. What navies? It's gone. What permission would we need? We extracted a dictator from a country and conquered the country in basically a lunch break. What are you talking about? I'm telling you, that reporting had to come from some guy in a mud hut. There's no way in hell. They were just passing by and they needed a quick quote. So they got some guy, a little goat herder out there, and they asked them a quick question. Oh, they need our permission. Fuck no, we don't. What planet are you living on? I'll tell you what. Something different. Something else. Oh, boy. Trump, get some leaflets, dude. Get some leaflets and start flying them over and update the people on what the hell's going on. Oh, my lordy. Oh, it's unbelievable, is it not? Same dude in a kayak. I don't know what that means, but that's hilarious. All right, let's get to some other news here. How much time we got? Okay, we got some time. Let's get to the good stuff. Okay, there's a quick update here. Do you remember these nut jobs out there in New York that were throwing bombs? Basically, a massive terrorist attack tried to be plotted and happened, and we just kind of shoved it under the rug. Isn't it crazy how many terrorist attacks have actually technically taken place here? Like 4 of them in like the last 3 months, and just all been kind of shoved under the rug. Just no problem. So ISIS-loving New York bombing suspects mused about blowing right-wing agitator in half and desired to delete up to 60 civilians. Court documents are saying that, not me. Lovely. Now, that's all we're going to cover for that one. I just want to give you a quick update because we got a lot of other news to cover. Death threats forced Nick Shirley to hire security. Yes, that's not shocking. I'm glad he has security. He needs to be very, very... I mean, no, I should say nobody wants this. There's psychos out there. I really want Nick to be safe. I know, and it's an obvious thing to say, right? But it does freak me out seeing him just walk down the streets. I just know how crazy people are. And I love that he's exposing all this stuff. And it's kind of what James O'Keefe was saying the other week, where he's putting his life and his staff's life on the line, and he's being serious about it. I love him exposing this stuff, but he's so like recognized now that I almost want him to hire some no-namer to go out and do what he's doing, even though you're going to make that person a big name. I just want him to be safe. It really stresses me out big time. All right, I wanted to share a palate cleanser with you guys, some like actual good news here. Argentina's right-wing president Javier Milei has halved extreme poverty from 11% to 5% and poverty from 30% to 17%. He destroyed leftist socialism and his country is surging. Look at this guy. He's like a celebrity there. I love this guy. I love his energy. I love that he loves Trump. He loves America. He gets it. He fully understands what's going to make his country great again. Watch this. I love that. I get goosebumps. I'm so happy. Like, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for the people of Argentina, getting rid of socialism, making your country great as it should be. By the way, most Americans want this. We don't mind other countries being great. As long as you're not harming us, you want to be friends with us. Americans just want to be liked. We just want people to get along with us. Now, we might kind of make that difficult at times. I'll be fair. Yeah, we make it difficult. We've always been that way. We've always been rough people, man. If you go back to our founding, and I've shared this before, if you go back and read like old school books and you see the way that other countries described early on Americans, rough people, man. We were rough people. You know, you got the beard, right? The Grizzly Adams, you know, you're wearing the hats and stuff that are all, you got holes in your pants. That's how I dress. I got holes in my jeans. We're just rough. We're just different breed, man. You know what I mean? We're the wilderness people. You know, we're the what's it called? Paul Bunyan? Nah, I butchered it. All right, moving on. Look, I tried. Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, yep. Minnesota's back in the news, but it's not what you think. It's not fraud. Oh no, it's something else entirely. Democrats love this same sex sports stuff. And by same sex, I mean not same sex. You'll see. Just un momento, it's morning. Republicans led by Krista Knudsen pushed to suspend rules and advance House File 2685 amid a U.S. Department of Justice lawsuit alleging Minnesota's transgender inclusion policies violate, was that Title IX, and risk, I can't even see that, sorry, federal funding. Knudsen argued in a passionate speech that biological males retain physical advantages, harming girls, medals, scholarships, and safety. Democrats, though, listen to this, countered that real threats to girls are sexual assault and violence, not transgender athletes, dooming the bill and two similar measures in party line votes. You know what's fascinating? This isn't even a Democratic thing, like a Democrat Party thing. Democrats don't even want this either. It's the progressives in the Democrat Party that are doing this. And you know what? John, I think it was John from AM 640 yesterday on my way home, he raised a great question. This is where I'm at too in this state and just across the United States. We've brought it up here in the past, and I think you guys are on board with this too. Why is it, Democrats, you have to pick the most progressive people to either run for office or make decisions on your behalf? Why? Out of the litany of people that you can choose from, why choose the most idiotic progressive lunatics? And then when they do something, you in your mind, because you voted for it, go, it's Trump's fault. Oh, that Cheeto man, that taco orange guy. Really? Really? And they'll go, yes, really? It's Donald Trump's fault. The guy's a racist. He's a pedo. That's what they say, right? That's all they got. Pedo. Oh, he's Epstein files 1,000,000 times, right? Because they read a news article. They read a headline. They didn't actually look it up themselves or why maybe something would appear a certain amount of times, you know. Oh, his name up here. He's a pedo. No evidence, by the way. It just completely came to a whole conclusion, a whole belief system for themselves without actually looking it up themselves. Anywho, why do you go with the most progressives, especially in our state of California? Why can't you just pick a normie? Like that, if you listen to Republicans in this state, because we know nothing's really going to happen. Even if we got a Republican governor, nothing's going to happen. We've tried that. We're at the point now where we're just asking, and we get it. Look, a Democrat will probably win. Look, we get it. We're kind of at that point now going, if you're going to choose a Democrat, can you just pick a normal one? That's where we're at. Like we're kind of negotiating. We're bargaining at this point. Look, you're dealing with the homeless. We're dealing with the homeless. You're dealing with the fraud. We're dealing with the fraud. Let's just find a normal Democrat that's an average Joe dude that wants to fix it all. That'd be great. Look, by the way, in totality, is there a lot of psychos? Yeah. Proportional wise, no. It's all a game. I'm telling you, it's all a game. There's some weird stuff going on. All right, let's see what else we got in the news here. I want to make sure we give you guys the latest and greatest. All right, we got markets. Yep, that's what I wanted to see. The markets reacting. That's what we expected. Let's see. So West Texas Intermediate crude, the United States oil benchmark fell about 17.5% to roughly $94 a barrel. Matter of fact, let's pull up Yahoo Finance and see. Let's pull up Yahoo Finance and see what we got going on here for the crude oil. All right. Oil. We want the crude. This is fine. Oh, hold on a second. Why didn't it work? Oh, there we go. Just loading. Okay, yeah, it is 92. Let's do 6 month. Yeah, okay. So that's you can see the reaction right there. That's good. Now, if you go back to where it was, I mean, we were looking pretty Gucci. $56, man. That felt nice, didn't it? Well, for you guys in other states, truthfully, you guys, I'll be as one. I don't drive that much, as I explained to you, and I'm a tightwad. I don't feel this impact whatsoever. Do you want to know why? I make my own food. I'm cheap as shit. And I don't drive a gas guzzler. You want to know what I eat for lunch every day? Tofu and rice and spaghetti sauce. Crisscross applesauce. I'm not, and by the way, people think I'm joking when I say that. I am not. I literally eat rice, tofu, and spaghetti sauce. That's what I do. Anywho. All right. So market's reacting. We'll see. There was something else. I just saw it too. Was that on Fox? Hold on a second. Let me go back here. Was that on Yahoo? It might have been Yahoo. Yeah. I guess this is happening. Iran live updates. U.S. achieved 3 military objectives. Yeah, but what was the title? A beautiful thing. Trump suggests joint venture with Iran and Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, he's willing to work with them, which is pretty remarkable for a regime that tried to delete him. So there's that. I think that's pretty much it in terms of the news. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna pull this up. I want to talk about this really quick. I want to talk about this. I want your guys' take. You guys know I'm into this stuff. It's more spooky adventures than anything. There was this clip that came out yesterday. We're gonna watch it, and I want to know your guys' take.
What did you see now? I guess it would be about 2 weeks ago. That was very alarming, the way you said that, at least.
Yeah, well, because of the circumstances and where it was, I can't get into too much specifics, but it was elaborating on some stuff that we'd asked for, and it was important to get this person in a secure setting to where we could ask him these questions. And there's somebody in the meeting with us, one of my colleagues, I guess you'd say, was basically there just to kind of upset the apple cart and to throw, a monkey wrench into the deal. And every time a question was asked by this particular party, it was really the answers were out there, and they gave them, and they gave specifics, they gave addresses, they gave times and dates and people that were in the meeting. And this went all the way up to the executive branch of previous presidents, not this current president.
So there have been different reports over the years. Some reports that there have been pieces of machinery that were found that did not seem earthly. And then there have been reports about life that is not earthly. Which one of those two, or both, are you talking about? A form of life that is not earthly, or just something mechanical that's not earthly?
I'd say you'd be safe to say both.
The way you described this, whatever happened at this meeting, this briefing that was happening, was there something that if we knew, we would feel that we are in danger? You said you wouldn't sleep at night if you knew the things that I saw in these briefings.
Yeah.
Should we believe that that's the part where it was alarming?
I don't think we're at danger of this. I mean, if these things exist as I think they do, they could have destroyed us with a blink of an eye. I just don't see that. And I think I just think, but I do think they have the technology and the capabilities of something that we can't understand or we can't grasp.
What I want to make sure I'm understanding is a member of our government has told you and others, I guess, that there is a form of alien life and machinery which maybe brought this living creature here that interacted in some form with people?
Yeah, they have. And they've, it's pretty wild. I know. But if I'm just telling you, I'm not going to lie to you. I'd take a lie to you. You won't put me on a polygraph. I'll take it. But, this is what the guy told me. I mean, I've had a very high-ranking naval official describe, I've talked about this before, underwater craft, something big as a football field, moving at over 200 miles an hour. And there's no fish in the ocean that would do that. We don't even have a sub that'll probably do 40 miles an hour under the. And the last thing he said before he left my office was, he was kind of weird because he didn't go out he went out the side door, which nobody ever uses. And he looked at me and put me up close. He said, "Tim, they're real." And that's the last thing he said to me. That'll be the title of my book, I guess. Matt Gaetz was involved in something here just recently. He was interviewed and he talked about this interbreeding thing with.
We saw that. We saw that.
Well, that's a true story. That was a military personnel. I think that would be a good story to talk to him about if you can do that.
Right. He says he learned that from someone in the military.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a guy, it was an officer in uniform. Yeah. And Matt and I and Representative Luna, we all went down to Florida, and we were turned away. And then Matt made a phone call to somebody at the Pentagon, and all of a sudden they opened the doors and brought the pilots in that were supposed to tell us the story in the first place. And he can probably elaborate a little bit more on that. But that was pretty fantastic. That was a made-for-TV special right there in itself.
I mean, look, you got Tim Burchett straight up saying aliens are real. We've made contact. We're working with them. And by the way, there's like interbreeding going on, or whatever the hell you call it. No, that's crazy. That's really wild. Speaking of things that are wild, we actually haven't done one of these in quite some time. So we're going to do one right now. If you haven't already, make sure that you check out Rumble Wallet here. Here's a little inside scoop that many creators are talking about behind the scenes, and actually is true as somebody that's a creator and part of the program. It's actually one of the reasons I am using Rumble. They made a way to super chat creators so we can get paid immediately and without any fees. I'm going to say that again. There's a way that you can donate now without any fees associated to it. So for example, YouTube and Twitch take up to 50% fees when you tip creators. I think YouTube's 30, Twitch might be 50% actually. This method takes none. So if you want 100% of the money to come to me, it can. That's right. Yes, this platform takes 0 fees and I get to keep nearly 100% of what you send me. So you can send super chat with Bitcoin. You can do Tether USD or Tether Gold stable coins, and the tip will show up directly on your Rumble chat, which I'll do my best to read, obviously. And then you need to do, or what all you need to do is download the Rumble wallet in the App Store and send the tips to your favorite creators. So you can do this through rumble.wallet.com, or you can download the app directly from the App Store. Seriously, this is actually a really amazing way to get rid of the middleman and help the creator economy. So shout out to Rumble for making this disruptive technology and making creators get their money, get their bag. You know what I'm saying? So I always appreciate you guys that make donos and help out. You support the show, and I always appreciate everybody that does that. Good thing mine don't have. Let's see. I'm a Southern Oklahoma Okie. Wait, what? I just went to get refill. Listen for the Rumble. All right. Well, that's the end of today's episode. I appreciate you guys hanging out and going over the news with me. So we still have illegal immigration. That's a massive issue. People are still being deleted by illegal immigrants. I think there's about 4 articles today that I saw just in the show prep this morning for that. You got a ceasefire that's allegedly happening. You have Trump saying one thing, reports from Iran saying another thing. We'll see what actually plays out. I'd say always gather as much information as you can from other sources and then make the most educated guess and opinion, which you already know. Oil is gone down, which is nice. It's about $92 a barrel. Gas prices are still through the roof. Fraud is still through the roof. Nothing's really changed whatsoever. We're just in the thick of it with each other. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. A follow would be greatly appreciated if you feel like we deserve it. If you're watching this a little bit later, make sure you hit a comment, because you can say anything. Just tell me what you drink in the morning, what your favorite dessert is, something like that, something a little cutesy that I read every single comment that goes my way or comes my way. And I always appreciate you guys dropping a comment in there. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And by the way, thank you for being understanding yesterday. If I don't do a show, it's usually because I'm sleeping in, because I'm tired, need to recover. But we'll be back here tomorrow, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for another episode of the Balt Brad Show. Appreciate you guys.